Hi then, hello, welcome to One Dad to Another, episode 3. This episode is all about feeding and the first couple of days when you're home with your baby from the hospital or when you're home birth, and the first couple of days what to expect. I'm going to try and make this video a lot shorter than the previous ones because I appreciate there's a lot going on in all the other videos, whereas this video, it's only a couple of things that we really need to go over. I'm going to try and make them shorter from now. So after little one is born, we didn't really tell anybody that we were going into labour. We just sort of did it on our own. So then it was our sort of moment, our sort of special thing, because nothing worse than people texting, calling, saying what's happening, where are you up to. It's like, just leave us alone. Let us do what we need to do. So when little one was born, had all the checks. We took little one home, and yeah, that's when you're going to introduce everybody to little one. Personally, we got the grandparents over, said, "Oh, can you help me put up a shelf?" or something silly like that. And when they came through the front door, we said, "By the way, here's your grandchild." It was a good sort of way that we did anyway, that it wasn't something they were expecting, and it was nice everybody had that moment together. So for the first couple of days, first couple of weeks really, baby is pretty much going to eat, sleep and poop, or eat, sleep and wee, pretty much. That is going to be their day. For us, little one would pretty much sleep and eat every 3 hours throughout the night. You've got to remember that they've been in the belly for so long, and they actually don't know what day and night is. They're just going to be sleeping because they're tired and screaming when they're hungry. So that's pretty much going to be their life for the next couple of weeks. It's something to be aware of. It's something I wish I sort of knew ahead of time. Baby is pretty much going to be sleeping and eating and weeing, and that's pretty much going to be your life. So baby doesn't really know what night and day is. That's just a strange concept to them right now. We've got to remember the couple of days, couple of hours old. They're really not knowing. Sometimes it's dark, sometimes it's night, lights on, whatever. So yeah, baby will wake up in middle of the night. That's just the way it is. It's something we learn sort of by mistake more than anything else, of how to help baby get to sleep rather than just putting them in the crib next to our bed. We put a hot water bottle in there for 10 minutes before we put baby in there. So when baby is in there, it's nice and warm, nice and snug. It may help them get off to sleep much quicker, and that's a little tip that I'll give to you. Something else that I would highly recommend in doing is something we did as well, is I'm going to assume you've got a pram or a carrier or something along the lines of that. Our little one was too small for a carrier, so what we ended up doing is I was wearing a hoodie, hold them in there, zip the hoodie up, and they've got a bit of skin on skin action. It's something that's really positive bond between you and little one, especially with mums, but more importantly with dads. We don't really get to hold baby that often during these times, so it's something I would highly recommend, especially if you're trying to get little one off to sleep. Bit of fresh air, hold little one. It's just that one-on-one time that you may not usually get, so that's something I would recommend. When it comes to prams as well, something that we were very conscious of is not making sure that the baby was in the pram all the time. You want them to have a positive relationship with the pram, if that's probably the best way to describe it. You don't want them to end up hating it. Like a lot of people that I know or I've seen in the past, baby's in car seat clips out of the car, clips into the pram, so the baby's not really getting out of that car seat for a couple of hours at a time. What we ended up doing is, if we were driving from one place to the other, take baby out of the car seat and put them lying down on the adjustment of the actual pram. Yeah, there was a bit of a kick off because the little one is just woke up or been woken up, but as soon as you're putting them down, lying them down flat, putting the cuddly toys or the blankets over them, they went straight back to sleep. But again, even now, so when we're putting little one into the car seat, it's not something they hate. It's not something they hate. It's because they weren't in it all the time growing up. It means something that they don't dislike it. So when it comes to feeding little one, there's obviously two options. You've got powder, baby formula, or you've got boob in the first couple of, well, first 6 months really, isn't it? I am not massively qualified to start teaching about breastfeeding. From what we got told from the midwife, breast is best, but if you can't for whatever reason, it's not that big of a deal. So when it comes to feeding, and especially at night, dads, this is something you're going to need to step up on and actually earn your stripes on this. For, like I said, for us, little one woke up 3 o'clock every 3 hours pretty much. It was fun, to say the least. But it got to the point where after little one had been fed, slid them over into their cot that was alongside, and you could go asleep after 5 minutes of quiet time. You just get used to it. But please remember, it's only temporary, okay? Something we learned as well when it comes to baby sleeping especially, we learned very quickly that if little one fell asleep, we had to stay in that position for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then baby would sleep pretty much anywhere. Something I would recommend is trying to find that time for your baby. It might be 10 minutes, it might be 15, 20 like us, but we learned that if you moved little one anything less than that time, they would wake up. Whereas if you stayed for that 10 or 15, 20 minutes, yes, it's uncomfortable because you'll be holding little one in a very awkward position, or you could be watching telly or whatever. But having that sort of knowledge that like 15, 20 minutes, then put them down, they sleep anywhere. So it's something I would recommend as well. So when it comes to making bottles, we were told to have boiling water so you know it's clean. Obviously that comes with its own problems if you've got to wait a little bit for the actual water to be safe to drink. You're testing it on your forearm, your wrist. If it's too hot there, it's obviously going to be too hot for the little one's mouth. Something we learned as well is having ice ready. 3 or 4 ice cubes in there with boiling water. It was pretty much the right level or right temperature to drink almost straight away. So that's something to be aware of. A nice little tip for you. So when it comes to actually bottles themselves, we use these two, mainly this one, I'll be totally honest. But this, with the first couple of for the first couple of weeks, it was something that our little one didn't mind. But if you are using something like this, again, they do come in bigger sizes. Yeah, it's just, it will say on here where fluid ounces, adding water to that level. I'm not going to insult your intelligence, put it that way. The only thing I would say is it's not a protein shaker, so shaking it like that's not going to work. We got told to shake it back and forward, so don't ask me why, that's just the way it is. But I've learned with shaking it front and back, all the stuff doesn't get caught in the actual bottom, and it's a lot cleaner, a lot easier to clean up. I mean, you're going to be going through a couple of these a day at least, so you want to try and make sure that they are clean and make it easier for yourself in the future. The other thing about bottles as well is that on the side of it here, they'll have usually a number. I'm not sure if you can see it in there, but for that one it's got an X, just because our little one's a little bit older. So the 1, 2, 3 size teats aren't really needed anymore. But that's what you're looking for. There's going to be a number in a circle. It's just something to be aware of. At least you know what you're looking for, if that makes sense. I will say as well, guys, when you are cleaning these, you know, most of them will come apart, and you'll know, you'll be doing this so often you'll just get used to it. But making sure that inside the actual teat is fully clean, there's nothing clogging, there's nothing left over. It's just something you'll. Some might be dishwasher friendly. I'm not. We don't have a dishwasher, so I am the dishwasher. So, but it's one of those, letting them dry, cleaning them, drying them properly, and having it ready for the next time. It's always good to have one ready to rock and roll. So it wouldn't be tradition on one dad to another if you didn't finish with a dad joke. So here we go. Poor old fool, thought the gentleman as he watched an old man fish in a puddle outside a pub. He invited the old man inside for a drink. The gentleman asked, "So how many have you caught today?" The old man replied, "You're the 8th." It's a silly joke, but that's a dad joke, isn't it? The next video will be about nappies, changing and all that kind of stuff, so look forward to seeing you then. So you made it all the way to the end. Well done you. Really, really appreciate the support. I'm supposed to say like, comment, share and subscribe. I'm supposed to, but I'm not your parents.